Hi, everybody. So I'm really excited because I'm joined here today by Moira Ballantine from Mind and Body with Moira. And I am really excited. I'm always looking for new ways to help people, new initiatives, new theories, new ways to help people to perform better in their lives. Me particularly, it's all about helping people to become healthier, to get more out of their lifestyle and be more happier with nutrition and training. But I'm so open and really excited by so many different kinds of things that are out there at the moment that can really help people to bring out their true selves. And any coach or mentor, that's the real magic, really, I think, and something that really excites me. So I'm really pleased to have Moira with me here today. How are you, Moira, today?
I'm really good, thank you, John. Yeah, really good, and just quite nervous, quite excited, but
Yeah,
let's see how this pans out.
yeah, brilliant. And one of the big things for me now is to have these great conversations. I think people are starting to realize that, it's all well and good watching 30 seconds, 60 seconds of someone explain something, but you don't really get a true insight, do you? And I really don't. I do like these more long form conversations, and I think people are realizing that and know that they can get a lot more from them. So with that being said, I really want to hand it over to you, Moira, and explain to the listeners and the watchers what is really that you do, particularly around EMDR therapy. It's new for me, I must be honest. Only talking with yourself over the last couple of weeks, you introduced me to it, and I've looked into it, and it absolutely sounds amazing. I'm pretty surprised I haven't heard about it before, but it would be fantastic, as I said, if you could give a more deeper, more professional insight, should I say, into what it is and how it can help people.
Sure. Yeah, no, I'd be absolutely delighted to, actually. I guess the first thing to say is that it's probably one of the major reasons why I got into doing what I do now, anyway, because I experienced EMDR firsthand and hypnotherapy, and it made such an impact on me. It enabled me to make such deep, phenomenal changes that I'd really sort of struggled with for most of my life, really. And so I guess it's one of those sort of euphoria moments where you just sort of say, my goodness, this has helped me dramatically change my life. I want to learn about it. And, then the passion just comes. You just want to help other people. And actually, this is what this is all about. This is what my event is all about. This is what I'm all about. Exactly the same as you. This is about helping people to change aspects of their life that is just, really negatively impacting them. So whether that's people suffering with anxiety, debilitating, crippling anxiety, nerves, overwhelm and worry, or on the other hand, whether it's sort of, habits, patterns of behavior that people have got into that they have just not been able to break. Once they do it for a while, the yo-yo dieter gets to a weight, that they're happy with, and then something happens and bang, they're back on piling the weight on. Smokers, I've known smokers that have given up for years, and then something happens and back they go. Alcohol, all of the addictions, really. This is really, EMDR is just such a lesser known therapy, but it is actually the one that's approved by the NHS. So I think that's again something that people aren't aware of, and through EMDR and hypnotherapy, I've been able to help so many people, and I have really dominated or I've been impacted so dramatically by anxiety and helped so many people. It seems to be that I've almost become a specialist in it. However, I've also helped people with, as I say, all of those habits, those patterns of behavior, some of those addictions too. And I think it's with EMDR, it's really about addressing the root cause.
Mm.
Why do we keep going round and round and round in these vicious circles? And once you've addressed that, and you've managed to enable people to release, sort of past emotions and feelings so that you can let them go and they can move on, so that change can then take place. And I guess in a nutshell, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, that's amazing. I love that, Moira, because I think we've been surrounded, haven't we, for so long with quick fixes. Do this for so many weeks or months and you'll be right as rain, whether that's a diet, whether that is a training program, whatever it is, as you've alluded to, stopping trying to smoking or, overconsumption of alcohol or whatever it may be. There's this quick fix, and it's been around for a long time. And it's so refreshing to start hearing people like yourself that are looking to help people at the root cause. And I think it's very true, isn't it, that if we can start helping people with their mindset and really start asking those deep questions, where did this come from? Then we start to really make big changes, isn't it?
Yeah.
Moira, I was going to ask you, do you think we're seeing this more so nowadays with people being more busy, more kind of a lot going on in their lives, that we're all pushed, aren't we, a lot more? I think particularly people with families, careers that they want to grow and progress. Do you feel that we're seeing this a lot more, where people are needing a lot more help at a deep rooted place?
100%. 100%. I think, anxiety, don't get me wrong, anxiety, all of these other things, they've always been there. And I just hate to sort of refer back to, 2020, when we know, obviously, everybody was impacted to, greater or lesser degrees by what happened in the world. But I think as a subsequence of that, it's had a great impact on virtually everybody. Not all, negative, some has been very positive, but I think it really has impacted an awful lot of people. And, I think also the NHS, which I'm not decrying at all, we're one of the most fortunate countries to have an NHS, like we have, but, it can't cope with everything. And I guess that's the saddest thing for me, is that sometimes people are getting in touch with me as their last resort. It's sort of like, well, I've tried everything else. I'm hoping that this will work for me. And I think that's just such a shame. So that's really why I just want to raise the awareness, take away this whole woo-woo thing about it, that people don't understand it, so therefore there's this lack of trust. That's why I mentioned, early on, EMDR approved by the NHS. So that's one of the things that I think is really important, and not everything works works in the same way for each person. So you do sometimes have to try different treatments, different therapies. One antibiotic might not work for you, where you need to try another one, and so it goes on. And this is just a therapy that cannot possibly do you any harm whatsoever. It can only be good. And as I said, I think the key thing is this is about addressing the root cause, so that change can happen, so that if the yo-yo of dieting goes, because we've addressed fundamentally why you keep returning and getting back on the same vicious cycle. The same for smoking, the same for drinking, the same for all of the addictions. Because the problem is when you make the changes, that's fine, and a lot of it is willpower that's keeping you going. But of course, if something comes along that demands your attention, something else that's, whether it's trauma, whatever it might be, then you revert back to what comforts you, what makes you feel better, and what is the familiar for the unconscious mind. So it's trying to break that cycle really once and for all.
Yeah, you almost, if you're not addressing those things, you're kind of putting a plaster over the bigger issue, aren't you? You're painting over something that it's not going anywhere, is it? And I see it on my side when I'm helping people to regain control of their health, regain control of their well-being, their happiness. And if we don't really get to the root cause, if we don't really ask sometimes the difficult questions, then we are just painting over the cracks almost, really. And there'll be a difficult day, a stressful moment at work, or it gets really busy with family. Yeah. And as you said, we kind of revert back to type. But if we can really address the underpinning reasons why we're doing things in the first place, and also I would suggest, would you agree, kind of getting that real clear outcomes of, if you were to achieve these goals, what would life look and feel like?
Is that 100%. Really? Yeah, 100%. And sometimes we've been so engrossed, by these feelings of anxiety, overwhelm, or, whatever it might be, that we can't begin to imagine what it would feel like being in a different place. And of course, I think the other thing, like you said, things happen. This is the whole point, that life goes on, and sometimes there are great times of feeling good, and sometimes there are these dips, there are these bumps in the road and everything, and that's why giving you as much capacity to cope and to deal with everyday life is really where EMDR is just the greatest, most effective technique that I've ever come across. Definitely. And I guess the other one other thing to mention about it is that with EMDR and with hypnotherapy, they're not talking therapies, which is for a lot of people, that is the absolute best thing about it. They don't have to come in, they don't have to start reliving, regurgitating, going over the same thing that they've been going over for a long, long time. So this, I think, is one of the best things about, as I say, EMDR and hypnotherapy. They are not talking therapies. It's not counseling. So it is very, very different to what a lot of people have experienced.
Sure, that's really, really good to know, because I think you mentioned earlier on that people are very skeptical when you say the word therapy. And it's a shame, because I think, such as yourself, professionals like yourself, and using certain therapies as you are using, they're so helpful and so powerful, but people just have this kind of perceived kind of thought pattern around when you say the word therapy. Well, do I have to lie there and spill out everything that I've been through? And I have to do that with a stranger in the room. And I think if you want to, I know you don't want to give too much away, Moira, and that's understandable about what you're doing. And we're going to go into a little bit later an amazing opportunity for people to learn more about what you do. But could you give a little bit more kind of how this kind of therapy would play out? Again, I know it's very personal to the individual. It's, you tailor it to the individual, what they want to get out of it, what they want to improve on. But kind of time spans, kind of what can people expect if they would come to see someone like yourself? No, great questions. As I said, I think one of the things that my clients have absolutely loved is that they don't need to talk to me about what memories are bothering them. They don't need to tell me about what the emotions are that they're feeling that are still bothering them. They can't let go and move on, that just keeps them stuck. I don't need to know anything. They just write a word or two down. The procedure is just so simple. There's no magic wands, obviously, but they don't have to do anything that I do. That they're just following, what I'm saying, and it's just sat, relaxed, and just letting it go, really. I don't know what else to say really to explain it, but as I said, it's not a talking therapy. They're not revealing or regurgitating everything, and I don't even need to know what it is that's been bothering them, but it is instantaneous.
and it does start having an impact immediately. I make it, I always give my clients a few days, to just get on with their lives following a first session, for example. And then I drop them, a message just to say, how have you been feeling? What differences, changes? And this is the truth. I would say that between 80 to probably 92% of every client that I've ever messaged after the first session has noticed some differences and changes for the better. And actually, it's really strange, because then when they actually come out for their second session, they then suddenly go, oh, and also I notice, I've just remembered I'm not doing that, or I reacted differently, or gosh, this was the case. So actually, it has a really good impact immediately. It's very, very effective, very fast acting, very simple, completely and totally painless.
Fabulous.
So
that's amazing. Yeah, I mean, as coaches, isn't that amazing, that feeling when you get someone that goes, oh, by the way, this as well. Yeah. I mean, it's like, it's got great because they're giving you some great feedback. They've got, made some progress, they feel successful, they feel happier, whatever it may be. And then it just sparks other things. They think, oh, I forgot about this. I need to tell you about this as well. And that kind of just really gets you, doesn't it? As a coach, a mentor, teacher, you think, wow, I'm making a difference on a real deep level here,
Yeah, absolutely. Because, when people come, I say, unfortunately, an awful lot or a huge proportion of the clients that come to me are coming to me as a last resort. They've tried other things and it's not worked for them, so therefore they really feel as though they're in a real deep rut and they just can't see the light anymore. And it's just, I mean, that's why we do what we do. We're passionate about it. And we've benefited probably, you're the same as me, John. You've benefited from your own way of working. It's not like what we do to other people, it's what we've done ourselves. So we know it, we felt it, we've been there, we've experienced it all, and we've been able to let it go and move on. Really powerful stuff, Moira, absolutely. And I think I've learned so much from my clients. It's a two-way thing, isn't it? When they get experiences from that working with you and they're so positive, or and you just become a better coach and a better mentor from working with people, Definitely.
And I think particularly people who are doing it for the right reasons, the people that are doing it for the long term, the long haul, so that's awesome. And I think you touched on something that I want to go back to, and you said, people come and just for a space, they don't need to talk, they can just sit. And I think, don't you find that that's one of the biggest things that people aren't doing anymore? Like, people just aren't sitting and allowing and their body, their brains, the opportunity just to sit and be still, and within stillness almost.
Yeah, totally, absolutely. I mean, one of the first things that I get people to do is to close down their eyes, and the whole point of that is we're so obsessed with everything that's going on around us, or what we perceive, is so important to us, when actually everything is happening inside. So all the thoughts are inside, all the feelings are inside. This is a great opportunity, to just really be present, be in the here and the now. Some people live in the past, constantly going over, they can't let it go. It's just constantly bothering them, and some people are worrying about what's coming, what's happening in the future, and that could be tomorrow. But for some people, they're actually worrying about what could happen in a month, 2 months, 3 months. So I think probably one of the greatest gifts is being able to just to be. And I just remember always one of the phrases I love is, we are We are human beings, not human doings. But so often we feel like we should be doing something. So it's another sort of thing to think about.
Yeah, I love that. I think I love that quote as well. It's great. Just reinforces and just reminds you about it's okay just to be within yourself and be with your thoughts, or just be without thoughts. I know I've been culpable of that, thinking I've got to do something, particularly with the business. You're thinking I've got to be doing more, I've got to be doing something. You go and find something to do, and really when you get into that moment, you're not really doing anything that's really kind of powerful or rings true to you. You've just felt like you needed to do something, and I think it's so powerful that you got someone like yourself that is getting people to stop and be with themselves. And as I say, being with themselves is so powerful.
But actually, John, you've just got you've just sort of triggered something in my head. The whole point is that we've been learning, from when we're born. Everything is learned behavior. And if we've learned that we can't sit still, we've got to be doing something, we've got to be productive, then that's an extremely difficult cycle to break. I think I was talking to somebody who was, a yo-yo dieter. And during one of the hypnotherapy sessions, we talked about, leaving something on the plate. And afterwards she said, oh my goodness, that she said, I hear myself doing it with my children. But she said, I can see we couldn't leave the table until everything was eaten. We couldn't have a pudding until everything was eaten. So she said, that's indoctrinated in, so that therefore you do eat everything that's there. So it's these patterns of behavior that have become so natural to us, so automatic to us. That's what I fundamentally mean is so difficult, because we've spent years and years and years and years of living that life. That's why they're so difficult to change.
With all that being said, Moira, fantastic. I mean, I'm really excited. As I said at the start of the conversation, I'm really excited how we can help people better at the root cause, at a deep underlying personal place where we can help people to make long-term change. And that, the great thing is it doesn't just stop with them as individuals. It splays out into their family. It has benefits for them, friends, family, work colleagues. If they are feeling better, they feel more in control, they feel happier, then that's going to have an immediate effect also on the people around them, the people that they care for. So it's super, super powerful. Now, I know, and you've mentioned to me, you've got this day coming up on the 13th of April. And I want you to just give us a little bit more, a lot more information about what it is.
Okay.
Who's it for? And what to expect from the day if people are looking to learn more about this fantastic therapy.
Okay. It's an evening event. So it is, as you rightly say, it's on Thursday. It's the 13th of April. It's from 6:30 until 8:30. It's absolutely central location in Leamington Spa. So at Cafe Desa, which is on Regent Grove in Leamington Spa. And I've put the evening together because I just constantly I'm sort of getting people who are absolutely astounded by how friends and family have just changed patterns of behavior, ways that they've been feeling, habits that they've been addicted to, or have just, not been able to get rid of completely and permanently from their lives. And so I get people, clients, potential clients, just booking in for a complimentary consultation, which I am very, very happy to do. But I just thought, wouldn't it be great to have a couple of hours where people could come along on the evening? Desa Cafe is a lovely cafe, as I say, very centrally located. Have a glass of wine if they want to, have a herbal tea if they want to, have water. Choice absolutely is theirs. But then for me to just really give them a better, deeper understanding of just how EMDR can help them with whatever the issue is that they've had completely and totally enough of. So, as I say, whether that's anxiety, whether it's overwhelm or nerves, or whether it's a pattern of behavior with yo-yo dieting, smoking, alcohol, gambling, whatever it is, so that they can learn firsthand and discover how this therapy can potentially help them to make and create the changes that they want, so that they can start living the life that they want, that, as you rightly say, impacts upon absolutely everything, their own personal life starting point, but friends, relatives, work, everything. And I'll tell them all about how it's helped me, so that they get that real, true understanding. And there's no obligation, obviously. If it's not for them, that's absolutely fine. The evening is just, as I said, from 6:30 until 8:30. There is a charge for the evening just to cover the costs that are involved. And if they decide, actually, do you know what? That sounds exactly what I need. That sounds exactly what I want, so that I can achieve and live the life I truly want, then that mere £22 will just come off of their first booking, of a session with me. So the only thing I ask people to do is to bring along either a yoga mat or a towel or a cushion, just so that when I close the evening, they can really get themselves really comfortable, so that they can enjoy to the absolute maximum a 30-minute mental massage that everybody always feels, sort of calm, peaceful and relaxed. So I just thought that was just the perfect way to end those couple of hours. So that's really what the evening is all about, an evening of discovery, and just getting to know about, as I say, this lesser known technique that just has the biggest impact on my clients' lives for sure. Absolutely. Does that give a good insight into what it's all about, and perhaps maybe even encourage people or get people excited about coming along and just hearing all about it and asking all the questions that they want to ask about, how it might help them, how long it takes, all of those questions, without any obligation, but just, as I say, an evening of discovery.
Sounds absolutely fantastic, Moira, and highly suggest people, if you're interested, then make sure that this is in the diary. You reach out to Moira and get a spot. Where can people find you, Moira? A little bit more information. Have you got any places that people can head to?
We'll obviously put the link to my website along with this recording, and actually there's a big banner throughout my website that's all about this discovery evening, to for people to actually go through the link and then scan and go and pay and book your space, so that you've reserved it, that you're going to get a spot there, and just take from it whatever you want from it. So the link will do it all.
Fantastic, Moira. That's fantastic. Brilliant. Thank you for going through that. And as I said, guys, please reach out and make sure you get your spot, because I know there's a lot of people out there that are struggling at the moment. And this is just, as Moira said, it's a proven technique. It helps, it works. So take advantage, guys. Moira, thank you very much for your time. And I'm sure we'll have more conversations very, very soon.